now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
What's up, everybody? I stubbed my toe last night. I'm pretty sure it's broken. I'm pissed off about it. With me, as always, is Jeff Dye. Let's start the goddamn show.
Breaking news. You broke your toe?
So it kills. It's sprained, which is worse than a break because it takes longer to friggin' heal. And there's nothing you can do but sit there and feel like a punk every time you take a step. And it's horrible. It's horrible.
How'd you hurt it? They're going to want to know.
Walking upstairs. Like, not
really
exciting. Yeah, I was walking. I had a game night last night with a couple buddies. I got annihilated by Macaulay Culkin. That son of a bitch. I was coming up the stairs, bringing some water up, and I smashed my toe on the top stair, the one that's not covered in nice soft carpeting, but just solid wood. And it smashed it and bent it. And I'm pissed off, man. I'm in a bad mood.
By the way, honorable shout out since Halloween was just a few weeks ago or a week ago. Joe Burrow. Macaulay Culkin dressed up as Joe Burrow and it went viral. It was like a huge thing, but like it was amazing. Even Joe Burrow loved it.
Yeah, Max the man, dude. He's really good at games, you guys. Like, he's never playing against you. In his mind, he's playing against whoever invented the game, and he's trying to find ways to exploit the rules within his favor. And he'll do it over and over and over until he's crushed everyone. And some people get really mad. I don't care. I'm just glad everybody made the trip to my house and I didn't have to drive. So I'm just grateful that I got homies. But some people get really mad, and I had to like not invite them if he's coming because they get like genuinely upset and hurt over a board game. I won't say their names, but you know who you are.
Macaulay Culkin is like that towards games the way I am towards the government. I'm always looking for some little loophole. You know?
Loophole?
These are interesting rules, government. How about this, though? And they go, oh, Jeff, what are you doing?
Yeah, then they'll get you for that, too. So we're going to talk a little different version of wrestling today. We're going to do a little stock market. Jeff, you ever dabble in the stock market?
A little bit, yeah.
I've had one stock my whole life. It was WWE. And I sold it all a couple years ago. I don't trust it, but I do trust professional wrestling. And we're going to do some buy or selling, and it's going to start right now. We're going to talk about the champions of WWE and AEW. We're going to go say, do we believe in their title run throughout the next year? Or do we believe that title run will end? Or do we believe it should end? Is there someone better? We'll give you reasons why. We're not just going to go buy, move on, sell. No, we'll give you reasons why. Don't worry. So we're going to start with a little tag team. The tag team of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who retained their championships at the Saudi show. And I personally am going to sell. And here's my reason why. The most boring story in the world would be for two women that are capable of singles runs to remain tag team champions for another year. The cool thing about Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill is Bianca, when she's at her best, is the ultimate babyface. Everybody loves Bianca Belair. And Jade at her best is a heel. We saw that in AEW where she just, I am that bitch. That was her tagline. And she was this cocky, confident, F you kind of heel. And that was her at her best. If their personalities are both baby faces and eventually they're going to go on their singles runs and say, hey, good luck to you, Bianca. Hey, Jade, good luck to you too. Then the story's over. What the hell were we watching? But if there's conflict, which there must be, then all of a sudden we get Jade turning heel, we get Bianca turning babyface, and then they both go on their indie runs. I said this before on the podcast. This tag team that they put together was to help develop Jade's skills, to help her learn, to help her get to where they need her to be to have a solo singles run if she's capable of it. I believe she is. A lot of people do. I'm sure everybody has doubters and haters, but I believe she can do it if given the time, and they've really taken their time with this. So I think when it's ready, this will blow up and they'll no longer be champions. And then Bianca Belair is a singles top shelf talent. She should be competing for the women's world championship. Now with Rhea Ripley hurt, maybe they speed up the Jade storyline, break them up so Bianca can get through with Jade and then go on to that. But we can talk about that later. But I do not see it. So I am selling them as champions in the year 2025. They will lose it that year. What about you, buddy?
I'm selling also. Here's the thing. I think we can all admit without sounding like jerks that the women's tag division needs help. It's lazy
all WWE
storytelling.
tag team needs help, but yeah.
It's lazy storytelling. It's been bad. I love Bianca and Jade, but again, they're superstars. Both one of those are superstars. Like together, this doesn't do much. The storytelling's lazy. It feels like whoever's booking that or whoever's writing for that is not doing great work. I think the best thing they have in the women's tag team division is Piper and Chelsea. I think Chelsea is like a star. I
love Chelsea.
She's
I
funny
like Piper too, but Chelsea's awesome.
Oh, she's funny when she's supposed to be. She's just very, very. I think they're both very underrated. I think that Chelsea and Piper should be the next champs. I think they should figure out, or they should really capitalize on those two gals. But the women's tag division is absolutely terrible. Like, let her do her thing. Let's exploit.
We'll explore that further, because it takes a different amount of time for everyone to develop. And she didn't start off as a wrestler. She started off as a basketball player. So I don't think we can fairly say, hey, it's time, let's go. Like, when it's time, it's time. As an actor, it took me 10 years to develop into an actor that I actually liked and respected. 10 years. Right. So if I would have been put on that clock, then I would have failed. You know what I mean? So maybe I'm sensitive to it because of that, but I don't think we can put her on a clock. I just think they're developing her slowly on purpose to make sure that when they give her that singles push, she's fucking ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I guess I think Jade's such a specimen and a unicorn that I think there's special circumstances. I don't see Almost the way you see him, or Omos, or whatever. I think that was his name, Omos. I didn't see him as special as Jade Cargill. Like, I see Jade Cargill as a star one day, and those others, maybe not as high a level or high a ceiling as I see for her. Anyway, here's one that is an easy sell for me, because what they're going to always be compared to, and it's not fair, but it's life, is the bloodline. And that's Finn Balor and JD McDonough as tag team champions. I don't know what WWE is going to do with this faction. It's tough. Everyone that's ever been in the bloodline has gotten over. Like, that's the benchmark, right? And you may say, well, it's not fair to hold them to that standard. And you're right. I'm still going to do it. The Judgment Day has not been able to get anyone over, really. Like, Rhea was already over. Damian Priest, I guess you could say it helped get him over, but I feel like it was his individual acts that kind of got him over with the crowd as well. And I don't think Finn's been booked correctly since he beat Seth Rollins for the Universal World Championship and jacked up his shit. I don't think he needs to be in a faction, period. I think Finn Balor should be on his own, doing his own thing, competing for, either mid-level titles or top shelf titles. Either one I'm fine with. I don't put as much glamour or distinction between the belts. If you have gold, you have gold. There's something special about you if you do, or should be at least. So I'm selling this big time. I don't see them holding the belts very long. I don't see the type of storytelling that you see with the bloodline. And I'm obviously they can't tell the same stories. That would suck. But it's just, if you can see the writing, it takes you out of the moment. And you can't see or feel the writing in the bloodline story. It feels authentic and organic. It doesn't feel forced when Roman Reigns speaks anymore. When he first got pushed on the people, it felt forced. And that's why people hated him, because it takes them out of the moment. Television is an escape. Movies are an escape. Music's an escape. If you see the trick, it's not as much an escape anymore. And what they've done with the bloodline is write it so purely. And everyone has a separate and different motivation, right? This is like character building stuff, obstacle and goal. What kind of character are you? How does your character deal with an obstacle? The bloodline, they all deal with it differently, right? Like Solo Sikoa goes right through the obstacle. Roman Reigns or Jey Uso is going to jump over the obstacle. Jimmy's sneakier. He's going to find a way around the obstacle. He might run away from the obstacle one time. Sami Zayn will climb over the obstacle. Like, they all have different motivations. Right. The Judgment Day is just like, yo, we're here, we're badass, and we don't care. And when you all have the same motivation, it's really hard to make individuals connect. So because of that, I just don't see a world where the WWE universe cares enough. The WWE universe. I'm still so programmed by that fucking company.
It.
The fans, wrestling fans, can't connective tissue isn't there, they're never going to jump on board. And I don't think they'll care when they lose. And I think they will lose. So that's my long-winded version. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm selling just because I think that they thought Finn Balor would elevate the tag team division. I think they thought, because he's a star. I mean, Finn Balor's amazing. I mean, former champ. Like the dude is great in every way. So I think they thought that would make it like kind of elevated, but I just don't think it was enough. And also, there's just too many A-list guys in WWE. So they're like, maybe we put him down there, we put the belts on them. I think that's what they think, or maybe what they thought.
I could see a world where that's the yeah.
It just doesn't work though. I think that it's a weird combo, him and JD. I think it's like it feels like kind of an afterthought. It feels like Finn's not getting his flowers even with the tag belts on him. It isn't enough. So I think just like I criticized the women's tag division, we need to do something better with the men's tag division also to make us
WWE care. In my whole lifetime has never done tag team wrestling well. Like the Hardys, Edge, Christian, and the Dudley Boys are the exception that proves the rule, because that's the only time they ever gave a shit about tag team wrestling. And until they're willing to commit energy into it, I don't think fans should have to commit energy to it. AEW really puts energy into their tag team wrestling. I think they do tag teams better than WWE. It's one of the few, if not only, things that they do better than WWE, outside of a couple talent that are really special. The Ospreys, the MJFs, those kind of guys. But yeah, I don't see the effort put into Judgment Day that I see put into the Bloodline. So I don't see how that story can hold up. So there's no reason for them to retain. Here we go. Next up, LA Knight, your United States champion. I thought maybe it was going to be time for him to move up the ladder a little bit at Crown Jewel. And so maybe that's the time that he would lose the title, which he did not. He retained, and we'll get into that more on Thursday in our picks. And if we made you money or if we lost you, your family fortune. But LA Knight's a guy that I don't feel needs the title. And I've been on the record saying that, but man, he looks good with it. So if he wasn't going to lose a crown jewel to Carmelo Hayes, and Carmelo and Andrade in their eyes aren't ready to hold that title, which I think would be better served on either one of them than on LA Knight, then I guess he's not losing it for a while, because he can't be world champ yet. That storyline is Cody's storyline, and LA Knight hasn't been booked in a connective tissue with him yet where it would feel like, okay, these two guys are finally going at it. He'll have to lose first. So I'm buying LA Knight to remain the United States champion for quite some time, sir. What say you?
I'm buying LA Knight. I've always bought LA Knight. I want to warn the world. We have to strike now with LA Knight. Time is ticking on this guy. I just think with the growth, the growing of a Carmelo Hayes or a Braun Breaker or any of these guys, as they rise, you've got to do something with LA Knight before it's too late. I mean, Austin Theory was a guy who was at the top. He was about to pop and break, and like he was going to be the next biggest thing, and then they let it fizzle. And so I think that like the LA Knight,
I don't think fans connected with Austin, and I think that's why it fizzled. That's off topic. So sorry for interrupting you. Please continue.
No, I just think that we need to. I've been saying it for 2 years. We got to do something with LA Knight. So hopefully he will retain until Mania, and I hope that they figure out, so they do something with it, so that fans will, I don't know. I like the rise of LA Knight, but I'm nervous every single day. His clock is ticking, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. The LA Knight Austin Theory comparison is a little different to me, and let me tell you why I think so. LA Knight came to WWE knowing who he is. He's an older guy. He created his character. I think it was Eli Drake. And he had that persona already, whereas Austin Theory was assigned a character by Vince McMahon. You are this guy. And the audience, and Vince was even on TV with him saying, you're my guy. He's a big body guy, Vince. That's why he works out so much. He wants to look like all those guys. And he pushed Austin Theory so hard that I feel the crowd was like, nah, you're trying to do this thing again where you're letting us know who the next guy is going to be. We want to decide that. We showed you with Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan back then. We showed you we want to be a part of that. We're not this isn't an 80s generation that's full of hope. It's a much more cynical generation. So they don't want to see that shit. So I think that's the difference is LA Knight came off much more authentic than the Austin Theory character did. Braun Breaker, you were the one just mentioning Braun Breaker, future star of the show on Monday Night Raw. At least that's what the WWE thinks. We shall see. Do you buy or sell your Intercontinental Champion to maintain and kick ass, and maybe he even wins the Royal Rumble and moves even higher up the ladder? Do you buy or sell Braun Breaker?
I am buying. I think Braun Breaker's a star. I think everything about Braun Breaker, he's not giving me anything to criticize. It's all been positive from what I've seen, but it's all pretty new. So I'm buying.
Here's the thing with Breaker. And you like this because it's very sink or swim. He's learning on the fly. Mm-hmm. You can see the potential there and you can see the talent. His in-ring stuff, there's no reason for me to criticize his wrestling technique. I don't know how to wrestle. He's awesome. It looks cool to me. The mic stuff, you can still see him developing, at least to my eye. Sometimes the promo will get a little repetitive as he's trying to kind of like find his rhythm. Right? I've seen him do that multiple times. It's the only reason I'm bringing it up. And sometimes the wrong term will be used that he's trying to apply to how he feels about a situation. That could be writing, or it could be him self-writing. I don't know what it is, but both of those things can potentially like take you out. But these are little tiny criticisms, not even criticisms, just notes of watching this guy develop and grow. I want him to be ready for Netflix because I know WWE feels like he's going to be their next sort of Brock Lesnar big time star. I don't know if he'll be ready to be the lead of that show by January, but I think if you give him another year, you'll see leaps and bounds as far as improvement on the mic. His ring work's super cool, man. He just looks like a stud every move he hits. Again, to my eye. But yeah, I think he still needs a little time to help develop his mic work. It's still a touch green here and there. So I want him to have time. I'm going to buy Braun Breaker because I think they're using this title as like the shiny thing that we look at while he helps develop that final skill. Nia Jax. I like Nia. I thought it was very weird that she lost at Crown Jewel. Thought it was very strange that someone so small could beat someone so big, although I do believe in jiu-jitsu. I didn't see any in this match, though.
Yeah.
There was no leverage applied. However, it's hard to buy Nia Jax if there's a Money in the Bank championship that's connected to her. And that storyline they have with Tiffany Stratton, though I'm not a fan of it, I don't think it's been written well. I don't think, I think it's too much too soon for that combination of wrestlers to have that storyline. And I don't love it. I've been on the record saying that. But with that storyline existing, it's got to get cashed in. And you're going to see Tiffany Stratton as the women's world champion on Monday Night Raw. And that rocket ship they strapped to her is going to go all the way to the moon. So I sell Nia Jax, even though I want to buy Nia Jax as champion. I cannot. So I am selling, sir. What say you?
I sell Nia Jax.
She's cool about her? She's big. She's destructive. She smashes the girls. It looks real. Sometimes it friggin' is real.
I'm selling on all the wrestling things. I think she's very pretty. She's a very beautiful woman. Also, when is Tiffany Stratton going to cash in this briefcase?
You want these early cash-ins.
Forever. No, it's not early. This is way too long. How? I mean, just cash it in already. What are we doing? Also,
I think that's the storyline's fault for not keeping fans engaged. So it's like, yo, just get it over with. Like, I think that's the story's fault. I really do.
Well, I can blame the story. That's fine. But I also know you didn't ask me to buy or sell Tiffany Stratton, but I am selling. I'm selling on her too.
I think she needed more time before they pulled her up and gave her this much to do. It's a lot. It's an awful lot. But again, their philosophy is, learn on the fly. If you're not ready, you're not ready. If you are, the cream rises to the top, all that stuff. They firmly believe in those philosophies, and I stand strongly against all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Liv Morgan. This one is the easiest buy for me, especially since the bad news of Rhea Ripley getting a legit injury. that was the story. We love Rhea Ripley. We both think everyone thinks she's, I say it like
she's awesome.
We were first.
She's the best. Everybody
that's loved Rhea since day friggin' one. This is like a sad one because she's legit hurt. And that's why I'm buying Liv Morgan. Because otherwise Rhea would get her hands on her probably at Mania and take it away or win the Rumble. That might have been the plan. And then she gets it at Mania. I don't know. But with that being gone and with everyone else being tied up in other stories, they're going to have to do some 3-card Monty and shuffle things around and figure out a new story. And I think it's just going to be a story to get Liv over even more. And so I'm buying Liv Morgan as champion through 2025. Jeff, what about you?
I am buying Liv Morgan. I love it. I love everything they're doing with her. I think she's become literally the A-lister of the women's division. So I'm definitely buying it. I like what they're doing with her. I think it's fun. I think it's great. Dom story, all this stuff. Because if everyone better be happy I don't run WWE. Because if I ran WWE, I put everything on Rhea Ripley. I give her every belt. I say she's the best. She's number one. I give her all the storylines. I'd have her wrestle men. I'd have her be beating men. Like, she's just such a star and perfect for wrestling. I think that Rhea Ripley is the best thing in pro wrestling. But Rhea Ripley is now hurt. Alexa Bliss is getting married and having babies and doing these other things. Becky Lynch is gone. She's enjoying her life and enjoying her babies and enjoying her family, right? I don't think we see Liv Morgan in this situation if we have these other female stars. Sasha Banks is gone. We don't have a Britt Baker over here. We don't have. So I think that the reason I'm buying Liv Morgan is because she's the best we got. Now, I like what she's doing, and this is no criticism towards her, but I think that forever Liv Morgan was kind of lost in the shuffle because she's just a little too similar in build and look as Alexa Bliss. I think there was even a time where Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan were doing the same. Who's the girl from Marvel that's the Joker's sidekick with the mallet?
Oh, Harley Quinn.
They were both kind of doing a Harley Quinn thing at the same time. One was just doing it on Raw, one was doing it on SmackDown. And I kind of always thought she was just another Alexa Bliss, like in a way. Yeah. But anyways, now those people aren't here currently, and Liv Morgan has not only rose to the challenge, but she's doing great and doing great stuff. I love her mic work. I love her in the ring. I love the story that they've given. She's doing great with it. So all that being said, I'm buying Liv Morgan, but I think that it's because she's rose to the occasion. We have a very unique situation happening in the women's division.
I like that when you like the booking of someone and they execute that booking at a high level, irrespective of what they've done in the past, if they're doing good work, you always let people know. And I think I bring that up because I know you take shit sometimes and people will be like, yo, you're hating on this, you're hating. You're really honest with how you feel. And when you like someone, you like them and you give them flowers. And when you don't, you say you don't. And I know we live in a world where that's a little uncomfortable for people. And I get that it's uncomfortable. People are much more vulnerable, I think, than they've ever been publicly with social media and things like that. But just know, like, honesty's still good, and you don't always have to agree. Just hear the man out. Next up, Gunther. Right. Oh, you know I'm buying Gunther. I'm buying Gunther all day. I buy Gunther stock like people buy stock in Coca-Cola. Do people buy stock in Coca-Cola? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big one.
But yeah, dude, Gunther's the man. Damian Priest is not taking that belt off him, even though he said, hey, I'm taking that belt off you. That was a lie, people. He's not going to be able to make good on that promise. Gunther is going to be super pissed that he lost that match. We haven't seen Monday Night Raw yet. We record these on Mondays. He's going to have a promo where he addresses his loss to Cody Rhodes, which we all called. That'll be on the prediction show. I don't care. Like, it didn't weaken him at all. And he's not losing to anyone for a very, very long time. So I buy all day. What about you?
I buy Gunther all day also. I think he's great. I think he's exactly what wrestling needs. He's a good guy. He works hard. I like everything about Gunther, and his rise to success is justified. I love him.
Finally, from WWE, Codith Rhodes. Codith is his family name. The WWE champion, the face, the quarterback of the company, the man that everyone relates to. because he proves that hard work and believing in yourself can pay off. And if you fail, you even have to work harder and harder and harder. So everybody believes in Cody Rhodes. Young people believe in Cody Rhodes. He's a vulnerable champion. I said these younger generations are much more vulnerable. Cody even discussed that in a promo. He's like, yeah, where are my crybabies at? Where are you at? I don't care if you cry. Like he's very, he's very proud of it. And as a 48-year-old dude trying to evolve, that's a hard thing for me to click with, but I get that it's necessary to evolve. So I'm trying, Cody. I'm trying to be more vulnerable and more open with my feelings. It's just tough. It's just tough based on the way I was raised. Everybody loves Cody. He might not have the greatest title run ever yet, but we can't compare it to the one that Roman had with the Bloodline because that's untouchable. That's the best storyline in wrestling. But I buy Cody Rhodes. He is the face of the franchise, and no one has been built up to take this from him yet. If he does, it'll go back and forth, and he'll reclaim it quickly. But I don't see him losing that title. And all this talk of Cody Rhodes turning heel is nonsense. He's not going to turn heel, so everybody can just stop with that. He's staying a babyface. But yeah, I buy Cody Rhodes all day in 2025. What about you, Jeff? Are you going to go off here? Are we agreed on everything? Come on, man.
No, we haven't agreed on everything. Yeah, we've sold on the same and bought on the maybe. No, I buy Cody Rhodes as well. I think he's great. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the star, like he's an absolute star. And I was a Cody Rhodes hater. When everyone hated Cody Rhodes, so did I. and then when everyone started loving Cody Rhodes, so did I. Like, I think that was a perfect, the whole Stardust and then Cody Rhodes over and then him and AEW. For whatever reason, I just wasn't him. But then when he got the big intro and he got the tattoo on his neck and they kind of it was just like was perfect timing, I guess, because I too has realized that he's a star and he's awesome. So yeah, I'm buying him. I think that they haven't done anything wrong with him yet so far since his return to WWE.
Buy or sell on the neck tattoo, Jeff?
Ooh, yeah, I think it works for him. I buy. Would you ever get a neck tattoo?
Heck no. On my neck. First of all, that would kill, and I'm not into paint. Second of all, it's unhideable. It's unhideable. Yeah. And that's my thing with tattoos. If you can't cover it, then it's just, you're going to get guys like me going, take that tattoo off your neck, Cody Rhodes. I sell on the tattoo. We now transition to AEW. A lot of these champions to you guys aren't going to be as well known as the WWE ones because more people watch WWE than AEW. But they have some interesting champions, some that you may not be that into. And it's a much more diverse. They got Japanese dudes up in here. They got 2 Japanese dudes as champion right now. I like both these guys a lot. One more than the other. We'll get into that. But we're going to start with Kazuchika Okada from Japan, obviously. Mm-hmm. And he's the Continental Champion. He got this title right the F away. It wasn't a big story. But with his English, maybe they felt this was the best story they could tell. He since has spoken a little bit of English, and when he does, it's actually pretty funny. He just calls everybody a bitch, basically. But he can wrestle his ass off, and his psychology in the ring is great, too. Like, it's not like when they're not doing a move, he's disengaged. Like, you'll see some people early in their career. Like, this fool's looking at you, looking at the crowd, smiling, frowning, like showing you how he feels throughout the match. I really like this guy a lot. However, how long can Kenny Omega be out of wrestling? Come on, my man. Call me up, Kenny. I'll find you a better doctor. Like, we got to go. We'll find you the best specialists in the world. I'm sure Tony's already done that. But in California, we got good doctors too, man. Come out here. We'll get you healthy. We'll go surfing at the beach. Surfing cures everything, by the way. Come surf with me sometime, Jeff. I got a longboard for you. Your tall ass will be fine.
I love it.
So I buy Kazuchika. I like this dude a lot. I would love to see them expand. I would love to see his English expand. I would love to see the stories that he's involved with expand. And I hope that they do that. They have the opportunity. The belt's around his waist. You can make the story about the person climbing that mountain, and that can be your American guy that connects with the crowd. And Kazuchika can be the jerk who's like, F you don't get this title. That's an easy line to say for anybody. So I buy Okada as the Continental Champion. What about you?
Yeah, I buy it. I don't know. I buy it
Soft
for now.
buy?
Yeah, soft buy. Like I buy it for now because Kenny Omega's not there. I would prefer it as Kenny Omega. I would rather Kenny Omega be back. He's my guy. I think everything he does is awesome and cool. He looks like a video game character, you know. So I like him a lot. I buy it for now.
Trios champions. Look, everybody knows how I feel about these trios matches. A couple of them have got me. I'll admit that. A couple of them I've been like, all right, that was a good ass match, man. Like when they brought like the Lucha Bros and they had someone else with them and they did some sick shit. But I'm not a big trios guy. That said, the BCC is unbeatable. Jon Moxley is their leader and champion. They got Wheeler Yuta. They got Pac. They got Claudio Castagnoli. They're not losing these anytime soon, and no team has been built up that can challenge them story-wise yet. They've all been getting beat up and chair shotted a million times. They're all dying. So I say no. I buy them. I sell anybody trying to win them, and I buy the BCC. What about you?
I buy it. I was against trios and stables. I always like singles and I like tag teams, but I think this one is kind of an exception. I like these guys. I like what it feels like. It feels like they were left behind a little bit. I still live in a weird WWE, AEW wrestling era where I'm like, what happened to Pac? You know, what happened to what's Cassiano's real name? Or not real name, but like his WWE.
That's his real name, but his name there was Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro. I'm always going, what about the guys I liked? You know, so for this one, I'm definitely buying. And I like the story that they got going on over there. So I'm buying that hard.
This is the tricky one here. Jack Perry is the TNT champ. I would say buy. However, Daniel Garcia and him, and Daniel's good on the mic and good in the ring. And he's got this young, like street kid quality to him where he's blue collar as fuck. So he's John McClane from Die Hard. Like he's so easy to relate to. He says the kind of stuff that like young people are like, yeah, that's what I would say if that shit happened to me. Like he's that guy. And I think since he's re-signed with the company and you see that commitment from both sides, that it's time for him to get the push that I've been thinking he was going to get all the way back when he was deciding, was he going to be a sports entertainer with Chris Jericho or a professional wrestler with Bryan Danielson? But he didn't get the push. He got a story, but not the push. Now he's re-signed with the company. He's going to be there a long time. So I think it's his time. So I'm selling Jack Perry. Love that you got rid of the Jungle Boy thing. Jack Perry's a much cleaner name. Love what you did to the TNT Championship. I love that segment where you were fucking it all up and dirtying it up and making it look hardcore. That's all badass, but I think it's going to go to Daniel. And yeah, man, so I sell on Jack Perry. What about you?
We're going to agree again. I sell on Jack Perry. I think that Jack Perry has not done anything yet that makes me think he's the real deal. I feel like every time I'm talking about Jack Perry, it's because some bullshit that happened backstage or some sort of,
sucks.
Whatever.
Yeah.
In the ring, it seems, it's actually very convincing though. I guess I will give him credit for that. All the like little chippy things he does out in the ring seem very real. So that I guess I'll give him that. But he hasn't done anything.
I definitely think he's found himself with this new version. I think he's found a lane that he wants to exist in for sure. I agree with you on that. Next up is the international champ, Konosuke Takeshita. This dude is badass. They call him the Lone Wolf. His English isn't quite as strong. Or I shouldn't say that. He just cut a promo on Collision where he spoke a bit in English and I completely understood everything he said. And he was like, Ricochet, you're a straight up punk ass bitch. And if you want some of this, I'm kick your friggin' ass. He didn't say that, but he said words to that effect. I was like, yeah, fucking go to Takeshita, man. Did his thing in there. The promo didn't make sense because they're talking about tag team titles and they're with Don Callis, and Don Callis just signed Brian Cage and Lance Archer, and those guys are going to go after the tag team titles. So I didn't understand the Kyle Fletcher part of that promo. It should have been more focused on them individually. This fool is so badass in the ring. I think Jeff said he was going to win the title, or it was our producer Alex that said he was going to win the title, but one of you guys got it right. And he's just a stud, man. He looks good. He's a handsome guy. He's buff as hell. He can work with small guys. He can work with big guys. New Japan style. He's really, really cool. I buy him. I don't think he's losing this title to Ricochet unless that was a promise that Ricochet got when he came in. But I really don't think he is. I think they're going to try to establish him in the Don Callis family because Don Callis is a really good manager. as and a good mouthpiece for them as well. Although he lets Kyle talk because Kyle can talk. We should get into that too. Kyle Fletcher's kind of doing his thing since he shaved his head. But yeah, I buy Takeshita as international champ in 2025. How about you, sir?
I sell. We disagree.
Oh,
I think he's fine, but what's so cool about him? Is this another one of these?
He looks so sick, dude. I just think his whole look.
Is this another one of these wrestling nerd things where like, hey, but he's from Japan, Jeff. We have to like strong style, like, right? Like, listen, what's so cool about him? What's so cool
I like
about
everything
him?
from Japan. I'm a sucker for
I know.
Japan.
Everyone just goes, oh, that's real wrestling. Oh, Jeff, if you were like us, you'd get it. You're not in on this. Listen, is he cooler than Ricochet? Ricochet jumps around the ring like some sort of strange popcorn pop. Like he's the most explosive, exciting, interesting. He's cut. He's like Finn Balor mixed with a luchador. He's doing all this crazy stuff, but he's also
really
got a
cool
great look.
comparison.
Yeah, he's awesome. Ricochet's
pretty Ricky. Yeah, he's got a great look.
He's very cool. He's I would argue he's got a lot more cooler things than Takeshita has. And it's not a criticism of Takeshita. I just don't.
No, but Ricochet's
I'm not
cool.
buying him the way everyone else is buying him. That's all.
Fine,
so I'm
fine.
selling.
Well, all my arguments you said in a sort of ridicule-y kind of way, which hurt my feelings. So we're going to move on.
I do love Japan. I love Japanese wrestling, but there's this strange commitment to thinking that they must be the best wrestlers or something. Well, there's plenty of black guys and white guys and Hawaiian guys and Canadian guys and Mexican guys that wrestle just as good as the Japanese guys.
You know what, Jeff? I was going to invite you to sushi tonight, and it's off.
Oh, dang
it's off. I'll call you when I go to Mexican food, and then we'll go eat. But until then,
let's edit this. I am buying. I am buying.
No edits. All right, what about the new tag team champs, Private Party? I think, and let me preface it with this. AEW is really good with tag team wrestling. They built up the Acclaimed and made you believe in the Acclaimed. And when the Acclaimed won the titles, it was such a friggin' feel-good moment. Then they bring the Young Bucks in. FTR is like a transitional title holder within all this. But the Young Bucks come in, and then they make you feel like shit about the tag team titles and the tag team champions, and they do a great job with it. And then they build up Private Party, and then they fail a couple times, and they get questioned, and MVP's in there, and he's like, yo, maybe take my card, or that might have been with the Acclaimed. I think it was with the Acclaimed. But all of a sudden, they get this match, this amazing match that I was like, oh, they're going to come up short again. They tricked me, and they finally won again. AEW gives like double commercial breaks to tag team matches. Whereas WWE, I don't think has ever done that in the history of the company. The longest matches are always pay-per-view, and it would have to be some kind of gimmick ladder tables to TLC match or something crazy like that. Whereas AEW is like, no, take 30 minutes, go have fun, create. I'm going to sell Private Party as maintaining them through the whole year. I think they may lose them quicker than we think. And I'm going to be way wrong on this because they're probably going to have a run like the Acclaimed had. And the Acclaimed might even break up. They had a little conflict, y'all, because one of them kept MVP's card and the other's like, yo, why'd you keep that card? Dude, what's up? Thought we were on the same page. Guess we're not. Anyway, I'm going to sell Private Party. I think FTR will get in there. They got to give FTR something to do. I'm talking myself out of it. You know what? I'm buying Private Party. I just talked myself out of it. FTR is going to lose when they challenge him, and they're going to put him over big and solidify them as legit tag team champs. I'm buying Private Party. I just went against myself. That's how convincing I am as a talker, Jeff.
I am selling Private Party. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about all this stuff. So I'm not that passionate about this one. But I think in 3 months, 4 months, maybe even 6 months, nobody's talking about Private Party. I don't think we're going to be talking about them. I don't think they're going to, I don't think this is really,
this is all the reasons I was going to sell. Now you're talking, maybe I'm not a good talker. Maybe I'm just weak-willed. You're convincing me to go the other way.
But I'm selling.
This is the most disappointing one for me, Jeff. Mercedes Moné is the TBS champion. I am selling this. Since she debuted in Boston, I have not seen them supply her with a promo that is anything close to the promo she cut when she worked with WWE. I have not seen them produce a backstage segment that's even close to the backstage stuff she was doing at WWE. I don't know why it doesn't work for me. I like Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. I like her a lot. I think she's done great things in the wrestling business. I'm still waiting to see it outside the ring in AEW. Her matches are her matches. I'm not criticizing those. They're fun to watch, and she's really cool in the ring. And when she's healthy, she's one of the best. But the stories that they've put her in so far, and I don't know who's to blame on that because I don't know who their creative department is. I don't know if the wrestlers come up with these ideas. I don't know if it's Tony or who, but it hasn't been compelling enough for me to, I don't think we've talked about Mercedes Moné since she debuted in AEW. I don't think we've mentioned a segment she's been in on this show. And that's a problem, man. She's a top tier talent that you're paying a fortune to. And she can hold a belt. She can chase a belt. She can keep others from getting a belt. I've seen her execute all these things at a high level. And I haven't seen it since she's gotten in AEW. So I'm going to sell. And I guess it's Chris Stratlander that gets the title or somebody else down the road. But Mariah May they've given her a much more compelling story with Toni Storm. She's had no story since then, but her no story since then has been more compelling than the stories that they have Mercedes Moné in. So I'm selling on this, and it's a disappointing sell for me. I don't want to sell it. I want to buy that because I like her a lot.
Right. I think we're both rooting for Mercedes Moné, but I'm also selling. They need to figure out something. She needs to reinvent herself over there, or they need to figure out a way to make her pop. We talked about her every single week when she wasn't even in wrestling. The rumors of where she might land or when she might come back were so much more captivating than anything they've done with her at AEW.
And that blows. That sucks, man. That shouldn't be the way it is. She should be a top level star being booked like a top level star. I'm getting soapboxy now, but yeah, dude.
No, I agree. It sucks because she's a superstar, but I'm also selling.
Mariah May, former guest of the show. I'm a big Mariah May fan, by the way. I like the Brits. I think they're pretty cool, even though she hates England. That's what she said, not me. Stayed in character the whole time. I buy Mariah May, Jeff. I buy her all the way to Australia, where they have their next, what's that called? Grand Slam. They have their next Grand Slam event, because that's where Toni Storm's from. And they're going to have a Toni Storm comeback story before that, probably a month and a half, like a 6-week story where they, Tony's coming back and getting smashed on by Maria all the time, or Mariah. And then they get to Australia, and in front of her home people and however many people, they're going to sell out whatever arena they go to. It'll probably be another 80,000 or 60,000, some crazy number. They do well with their pay-per-views, especially the ones on when they go to foreign ground. And that's where she'll finally lose it. So I'm buying, but I do think she'll lose eventually in 2025. I just don't think it's going to be anyone but Toni Storm. And I think Mariah May, without a story, is still a compelling wrestler to watch. I don't know if you guys watch any of the backstage segments that she does. They don't all make TV. Some of them are just for social media, but she's doing a really good job. She's growing every week with these promos. I don't know if she's doing it alone or with help. It's crazy to see someone in their 20s develop this quickly. I think she's in her 20s. She looks like she is, to develop this quickly. And I think she's got the heel thing figured out. I buy Mariah May. What about you?
I knew we were both going to buy Mariah May. She's awesome.
I don't want you guys complaining about short episodes because we're giving you almost an hour today. And we're going to finish up with the easiest buy I've ever had in my life. Jon Moxley, world champion, AEW. This dude is not losing the title. He is not getting his vacation with his lovely wife, Renee Paquette. They don't get to enjoy a single weekend together because he will be champ through 2025. There isn't a dude on that roster that's ready yet to take that title. And I think Moxley has his eye on a few dudes. Like we can see the Orange Cassidys and the Darby Allins out there. And him and Tony will figure out who's going to be the guy. But it's going to be a long, hard, tumultuous road. Did I say that word right? I don't think I did. Either way.
Yeah.
I tried to be cool with a cool word, but it just didn't feel organic, so I had to call myself out. Nobody's beating Jon Moxley. Super simple, super easy buy. Make your money, buy stock in Jon Moxley. What about you, Jeff?
I agree. And I said it every week for the last 4 weeks. The dude, he's doing his best work now. Buy Jon Moxley. He's amazing. I don't see anybody. I love this new character. Love it, love it, love it.
You guys, Unsanctioned Thursday comes out the day after this comes out, and we're going to go over the Crown Jewel results, talk about whatever else we want to talk about. So tune in then. On behalf of Jeff Dye, this was the Buy or Sell episode of Wrestling with Friends. I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. Thank you and peace.
This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.